Hey everybody, welcome to Pastor Have You Seen This? Which is a production of Allen Creek Community Church where I am one of the pastors on staff, and every week we get a chance to throw some more content out here where we're commenting on videos that make the rounds. Videos that seem to have impact on people because they're either making an argument for or against the Christian faith, or something in pop culture that relates to Christianity. So we're just giving you our hot take on it. Just a reminder, though, that it is a cold take because I have actually never seen this video, so a little bit of grace for helping me think on my feet here because I have not seen this. So we'll see what someone has to say here. And by the way, if you have something you want to send in, do so to social@ac3.org, and we will make it a part of Pastor Have You Seen This, and we'll comment on the video that you found interesting. In the meantime, let's deal with this video, which is labeled God and the Nothing People.
Some people think God created the universe. Some people think nothing created the universe, which is the funniest guess. And the nothing people make fun of the God people. They say God doesn't exist. I'm like, okay, maybe. But you know what definitely doesn't exist?
Nothing. I love it. That's so
That's the
good.
defining characteristic of nothing, is that it doesn't exist. So what are we talking about? Either you think it's God, something you can't see, touch, taste, photograph, and science can't prove, or you think it's nothing, something you can't see, touch, taste, photograph, and science can't prove. But I think we can all agree, if your nothing sometimes spontaneously erupts into everything, that's a pretty goddamn magic of freaking nothing, you guys.
So good. That is a pretty magical nothing. Yes, it is.
And ask the nothing people, what happens when you die? They'll tell you, nothing. You go into nothing. I'm like, you mean you merge back with your creator?
That sounds like Christianity.
That's heaven, bitch. Some people think God.
Oh, I love this video. You know what I think we need more of in this world is smart Christian comedy, because there are so many things that are it's just sort of mockable. There's, in good faith, in good, without having to be mean, but all good comedy, right, is rough. And this is pretty rough with people who believe that the universe came into existence out of nothing, by nothing, for nothing, and is going back to nothing. So nothing created something. It's fascinating if you do a deep dive into this and you look at the astrophysicists who speculate on what there was before the universe existed. And they talk about how complicated nothing is. And so they talk about a quantum state, a quantum fluctuation, and so they talk about basically the properties of gravity that gave birth to the universe, because you have a quantum fluctuation, because that's just how magical gravity is, and that's what gravity can do. And so no less a thinker than Stephen Hawking, who says that because of a thing called gravity, I'm butchering the quote here, but because of a thing called gravity, you can have a universe basically spontaneously come into existence out of nothing. But see, you notice he starts with gravity, which is something. It's a property of nature. So somehow he's imagining that before you have nature, you could have a property of nature. And so he's imagining that there's this immaterial thing, which is a way that matter behaves before you actually have the matter. And so it's an incoherent view, because you have to have a mind that could create the pattern of nature before nature could exist, obviously. Once nature comes into existence, then we can observe its properties. We say, oh, gravity does this. Gravity has quantum fluctuations. Gravity has these subatomic properties. But before you have gravity, you have nothing. And nothing is, friends, the comedian says it so well, you have nothing. You have nothing, which is to say you have no thing. You don't just have no matter, you have no laws. Which is why it's reasonable for Christians to infer God at the beginning. I'll tell you why. Because you have no matter, so the thing before matter comes into existence has to be immaterial, right? And if you have something before time, then that thing that causes all time to come into existence, the space-time continuum, has to be eternal, right? It has to be beyond time, and it can be bound by time. We are bound by time. The thing that created the universe and time inside the universe has to be, in some sense, timeless. It has to be spaceless, because space comes into existence at the beginning. And so also all matter, which, as we now know, matter equals energy. And when you think about the incredible energy that's comprised of the physical matter of the universe, then whatever caused all that matter to come into existence has to be of incredibly immense power, right? Because a cause can't rise above its source, right? So if whatever sourced the matter of the universe is it has to be of greater power than the power that's represented in all the energy in all the galaxies and all the universe. So therefore, that cause has to be of unimaginable power. So now we've got an interesting starting definition for the first cause: timeless, spaceless, immaterial, and of great, incredible power. And we'll add one thing more based on the nothing argument. That if there truly was nothing before the Big Bang, that means that whatever was before it that caused the universe to come into existence had to stand outside the physical properties of the universe. And as we know, right, like, so gravity acts on you. The speed of light acts on you because, it forms the way that light bounces around the universe. The nuclear force, the strong and weak nuclear force, all these fundamental properties of the universe are in some sense bound to act exactly the way they act all the time, mindlessly in some sense. They're just laws, right? Drop this, it's going to fall mindlessly. It's just going to obey natural law. Whatever exists before those laws come into existence is not bound by those laws. And the only thing we know in practical experience that can act outside of the demands of physical reality is a mind, because that's the only thing that's free. The only thing that says, oh, I'm going to drop this and gravity's going to pull it down mindlessly. The only thing that could interrupt that is me catching that thing before it hits the table. Me with a mind that could counteract, in some sense, act outside of the demands of physical reality. So it's again reasonable to infer not only that the first cause is timeless, spaceless, immaterial, eternal, of incredibly great power, but also personal, because only persons have the kind of free will that can act outside of the demands of physical reality. So friends, I don't know about you, but we've got a starting definition for God. Like the comedian says, you may say that there's nothing that you can say to prove the existence of God, and certainly there is nothing. But there's inferences we can make from the evidence. And is it better to infer God or to infer nothing? And this guy says it really well. I love this video. If you got another video you'd like us to comment on, please send it to social@ac3.org. And until next time, we'll see you here on Pastor, Have You Seen This?